Friday, October 3rd, 07:19 a.m. New York time. Welcome back, investors, to Winning Wall Street's Money. Pre-market futures completing a week in the new month of October. We are in the fourth quarter of the year. Yep, there's 4 quarters in a year. Window dressing is completed. If you've been with me for a good amount of time, you should be already situational aware of what that is. If not, I posted good insight details spelled out below this post on my Patreon page. Typically, the last 2 or 3 days of the prior month and the first 2 or 3 days of the new month, overlapping the quarter, is when it occurs. I have good insight. I shared past videos detailed. So this is going to be a basic, the broad market futures to identify. Be much more clear at the close of the markets. But we're so close to the end of the day, week. I want to show it now so you get some insight, maybe what to focus on more. So basically, window dressing is when a person manages a company that manages a portfolio for other people's capital to be invested in, i.e. hedge funds, i.e. mutual funds, i.e. pension funds, i.e. insurance funds. So the person that manages that has a fiduciary role to do the best as possible to keep current shareholders and encourage new ones come in and encourage current ones to add more money. So they make more money on commissions and operation fees. To do that, they need to be active, involved in managing the fund. If they have losers, bad investments, they need to get out of those. And if they have ones that are performing better, they can invest in those, and that information be public record. So to give a shadow of the overall holdings, but that alone is not the numbers. Understand it's marketing. They have names listed on their investments of companies that you may be familiar with that sound really good. That does not alone tell you when they got in them, as well as losers when they got out of them. Charts and the numbers, a good investor would be doing their due diligence to look deeply into. So I'm going to show you another thing called multiple time frames. I'm showing you here be 3 of them: the far right, the monthly, the middle, the weekly, and the left, the daily. Understand, we just finished the month of September. Now, looking at the chart on the far right, for each of these financial products I'm going to go over, you can see if we took out the high or low of the prior month, since we've only been trading already 3 days in the new month, or if we're still inside there. And then same with the weekly in the middle. If we're still inside the range of the week, haven't taken out the high or low. So typically a lot more activity is occurring, I just mentioned, the last few days, 2 to 3 days of the month, and the first 2 or 3 days of the new month, again, for the quarters. Specifically for the quarters. Yes, it happens all the time. People are doing dollar cost average, individuals and money managers. But again, that's different money management of how they're adjusting the portfolio for the purpose I just mentioned versus dollar cost average. This is the ES, the S&P 500 futures. That's right. It is 07:23 a.m. New York time, and the markets are trading because there's different financial markets that are open before the New York Stock Exchange, before the 9:30. So on the far right, we made a new high. We already broke out the high of last month. Do some house maintenance here. And in the middle of the weekly, yep, already broke above the weekly of last, which was interesting. If you notice the color, last week was that red candle, almost a doji. And here's the daily on the far left. We have a gap here that has not been filled yet. So seeing this, we know the S&P 500 futures is trending. It's trending up. The momentum's up. It's bullish. Let's go to the next financial asset. The 10-year yield. The far right. For the new month, it's still inside candle. The middle, the weekly, it reversed. Lower high, lower low. Huge trend down. Again, U.S. Treasuries, 10-year, fixed income products, auction off, sold off at the U.S. Treasury Department to raise capital because the United States does not collect enough tax income. U.S. Treasury has a fiduciary role to sell fixed income products like bonds and notes. They'll pay off our deficit, which is more than we spend and we're only paying the interest. So you could go for U.S. Treasury and buy those financial products, or you could trade them, invest them also in the financial markets, such as the Treasuries futures. We have the other advantage too, margins. And also understand the U.S. Treasury Department is an exchange of financial fixed income products at certain hours. So you may have hours that are different between and we do have different hours, where you could trade them in the futures market as well as just in the physically go in the Treasury Department. Yeah, look at that big red candle right here in the weekly. And on the daily, we had this consolidation here. We had that markup phase. We had the markup phase. You understand markup phase? We had that during when the Federal Reserve met and lowered rates. The yields went higher. Federal Reserve, U.S. Treasury, two different departments. Currently, we are trending back down after we did a huge retracement up. We did not test the 0.618. We went further up than the 50%. So that gives the odds are that on a retracement down here, there's a lower probability that we're going to break this. If we don't break this, then the probability is going to reverse and go higher and break this. That'd be higher yields, which be higher interest rates for mortgages and other lenders. Be concerned. Onto the US dollar, king dollar. Look at the monthly on the far right. Yeah, last month made the new low for the year. New low for the last month. Let's open this up. Yep, the dollar is declining. The value of the dollar is declining, you hear me? So much it has to do with the leadership, the policies, leadership, the confidence of the U.S. markets. Obviously, there's less of it from the investor point that the value of the dollar is declining. Here in the middle of the chart, the weekly, it's still inside candle, indecision. Amazing. All this action in the other financial assets making all-time highs, and the dollar for the week is still inside range. And the daily right here. Since last night, we're still inside the range. Big consolidation phase here too. Let's go look at the largest currency in the US dollar. That'd be the euro. Monthly, like I said last month, made that all-time high for the year. Let's adjust this. And also the weekly's inside candle, and also the daily indecisions. Thanks a lot to the leadership of Congress, shutting down U.S. government, many federal agencies, making people, again, less confident of the U.S. government. Let's go on to the next financial instrument. Onto commodities. Energy. I posted a video specifically on commodity of energy, natural gas yesterday, sharing a lot of insight. I closed all my positions that had gains. I closed all my positions in natural gas, all for profits. I posted several videos on that in the past using options. Again, I think natural gas, from my point of view on charts, you see that after this one, was overextended in time to close to take profits. Gains are not profits. Gains means you're still in a position. I am in cash. The monthly already broke the low of last month. This is crude oil. Crude oil futures already broke the low of last month. Crude oil weekly, we broke the low of last week, broke that swing low. We are here in a demand zone. Again, the candle will be done at 5 p.m. New York time. And the daily chart. Here was yesterday. Big move down, broke below this consolidation. Let me remove that green line. And currently, since overnight, inside candle. So, see, crude oil is declining. Natural gas is trending up. Broke above the high of last month already here on the monthly. Look at the weekly. Huge candle trading range, broke above the high of last week. This was a consolidation, broke above it, huge trading range, broke above this prior supply zone. Big wick on top too. Yep, I closed my trades inside that big move. Good job out of me. And daily chart, look at yesterday, big bearish pin bar. Yes, I did not close at top. I closed in this area using options. Again, gap here has not been tested. Gap here has not been filled yet. Opportunities, if you want to take a trade, you consider where you think the best direction is, value is, key levels. I explain a lot of that on my other videos. But again, the point here is specifically crude oil trending down, natural gas trending up, both in the commodity energy, but two different trends. They are priced in dollars. So again, dollar has a huge impact. Let's go over to metals. Gold. Broke above the high of last month, all-time new high. Huge trading range last month. Weekly broke above the high of last week. And the daily charts. Yesterday made that real high. Closed red. Look at these big wicks on the top the past 2 days. And right now, inside candle. Let's go on to the next metal, silver. Yep, silver. Look at that. New high for the year, but below the highs of 2011. Same with weekly, broke above the high. And daily chart, again, huge consolidation inside candle already for the day. Take it to the last financial instrument for this video. Crypto, Bitcoin. So last month, we broke above it already. This green candle was last month, so this is here right now. We are not at the all-time high there. Again, it's underperforming. So many financial instruments I showed you. Weekly chart, broke above the high of last week. Broke above this big trend. and testing this key level right here in that bearish pin bar. One would expect to see some bearish traders up there. We're going to see who wins because there's a battle up there. We can see right here on the daily chart. Inside candle for the day. Thank you as always, spending just a little time with me. That's it for the video. Thank you for watching.